Good afternoon again from yammybtv. Wishing you all well, sending loads of love as usual. And just to tell you that I've just been outside and it is pouring with rain and it looks really doomy and gloomy out there. Before I start the topic of this one as well, this is some of you remember this, especially if you was there. It was on the Isle of Wight in the 90s. But some of you have been asking about photographs because since I moved, I've been going through the archives. Some of you want pictures of my lifting days when I got my gold badge for the powerlifting and things like that. Big up to you, Nicky, my boy. And I came across this, so let me just cover it up for weirdo purposes. Look, boom, 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 boom. Get that? Can you see that little face there? Yep. The once great Yammy B at 5 years old, and what a cheeky little git he looks like even then. Also, I forgotten the other day. Sorry, Roman. Roman's birthday, 7 years old, down there in Manchester. I forgot to do it. I'm really, really sorry, Roman. Next time you need anything, just give me a shout and I'll go up there straight away for you. Fran Charles, one of my besties from Manchester, sending loads of love. It's his son as well. So this next topic is, we haven't seen many of it over the years, but it does happen in a prison environment. So inmates in the mix-up, he said, they said, she said, gossip probably runs prisons a little bit really, because you know there's not much else for inmates to do sometimes, but not everyone gets involved in the gossip and mix-ups. Some get their head down and do their bird quietly and don't want to hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil, if you get what I mean. That's another favourite saying as well. Hold on one second. Not yet, Paddy, my boy. So yeah, mix-ups, but it also happens with prison officers as well. Like, you know, I was in the mix, we know, with staff bringing stuff in and all that kind of stuff over the years. And the he said and she said, getting involved in that so I can use what he said against that officer there. You know, all them silly little games that I used to play because I never had anything to do. And, you know, my experiences with them as well, you know, led me to believe that they were doing the same to me as well. But anyway, so you got Mr. D. He's 6'7", 6'8", often used by staff for the strong arm tactics when they couldn't manage the very, very strong inmates and serious inmates where violence was taking place, and he'd be the first one they call to go through the door first because of his size and his physical prowess. Also, there was Mr. C, a crab-like figure by name, by nature, if you get what I mean, and not very well liked by the majority. You know, one of those officers who you could be on the twos, the threes at someone's door, getting your meal, coming up, you know, even if you're not late with your dinner, coming up the stairs, he would always have his picker on us, which would be me and probably three others at that time, where he would say, you know, yeah, hurry up, Yammy, you're being late, and you know, picking on people for no reason. And we also used to hear, because the he said and she said, like I said, from other officers about him, that he used to beat his wife as well, physically, by way of violence. So that news kind of travelled a bit. He used to get, people used to shout out those things to him because the information used to get back to us, and he never really used to like it. And if you said it to him, you'd end up down a block or lose your privilege scheme. Like I said, enhanced, basic and standard used to dangle that carrot. Like, if you want me back, I'll drop you from enhanced to standard or basic. So rumour had it that Mr. D had, you know, not taken his wife off him, but ended up being with his wife. Now, Mr. D never told me nothing. It was just heard it through the grapevine kind of thing. So we knew that there was kind of, working on the same wing is going to be very difficult, especially if you were married to someone once and then the other person's married it to him now. But in reality, matching them both up against each other, I would have expected Mr. D to absolutely slaughter him, and I probably was hoping so as well, because I really, really hated him, if that's the right word to use, that Mr. C. So we was all running down. So that passa mix-up talk was going around for quite some time. So one morning, four of us were late for applications. The workmen were already, the labour board check when you're going to work was already getting done. So the applications door to the office was just about to be shut. So we're sprinting downstairs and see how if we can get there quicker. The four of us that were running down the stairs, we wasn't going to work. So we ended up outside the office, but on reaching there, the door was kind of half jammed, shut and half opened. So, but there's a see-through bit of plastic where you can see through it. So, as I pushed the door open, again, we got a history for pushing doors open. So I pushed the door open, and they were arguing. And I think the argument went something like, well, Mr. D was saying to him, go on, get off the wing then. Go and complain to the governor like you have already, kind of thing. But Mr. C, with me and three other well-known figures were there, obviously didn't want to look small. Again, it happens with prison officers as well, or can happen. The more professional ones wouldn't be reacting in front of inmates, because it's unprofessional, really. So we caught that bit of it. So we saw his face going a bit red. The doors opened, and he went to give him an almighty right hand, missed, and Mr. D give him a backhand like that and a backhand like that, and he fell over the seat of the chair and all that, and we all started laughing, but we all walked away like Mr. D was going, right, all of you go away, like kind of thing, go upstairs, seen but not heard kind of thing. So we've all gone upstairs, but us three are laughing our tits off because we're thinking, now we got real ammunition against you, Mr. C. So, hours pass in the morning time to the evening. He's gone missing. Obviously, must have gone off duty, must have had a black eye or something like that. And then the next day or the 2 days after that, every time he went past the landing, we was all chanting down to him, man, you got knocked out, you got a bitch slap, sorry, excuse the language, but that's how it was back then. And he never ever was the same ever again. He moved wings as well, and to be getting ribbed by inmates over something that we saw and not heard, and he portrays himself as a kind of big tough man, but with a real squeaky voice. Not saying squeaky voices are bad, but somebody who's really trying to belittle people and act hard and tell everyone he's around. When he talks, you don't think it sounds like he can, but maybe many squeaky voices will. But yeah, that was a tale of two officers fighting, and I'll be up again very shortly. We're going to go in today.